Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. Vince Lombardi said that once. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, episode 19, Master the Game. Hey everybody, it's Scott, the host and founder of the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, and welcome back to yet another great episode as far as I'm concerned. Today isn't going to be a interview episode. Instead, you're going to just hear me ramble at you today, but apparently you guys like that, so I figured I'd do a solo show because it's been a little while now. Anyway, if this is your first time listening to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, I'd just like to point out that you've come across a podcast which is designed and all about helping you become a better leader. And that could be anywhere at all. It could be either at your work, it could be at home, it could be in a community group, whatever you are looking to better yourself in a leadership role, or even if you're not if you're not a leader per se, but you're looking to become a better follower in all those different types of categories, it all applies. Today I got a show which I'm going to talk about and what I refer to as the game, okay? And we'll get into that in a little bit. I got a few different things I'd like to go over with you and just talk about some updates at Moving Forward Leadership. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the Moving Forward Leadership Facebook group. And if you go to facebook.com/groups/Moving Forward Leadership, you'll find us there. If you can just go to the show notes for this episode, you'll find the link for the group. And what I am doing is basically I'm building a leadership community there, a place for people to come and talk leadership. And as of late, I've been including our guests, the guests that I've had for a number of episodes now. So you'll find people such as my last guest, Brent Kelly, in there. John Conrad is in there. Tyrone Matheson is in there, and so on and so forth. So not only am I bringing you these people in an episode format, but I'm also bringing them to you as much in person as what I can with this Facebook group. So I'm going to say, hey, why don't you guys come and join the Facebook group, because we are in there and we are having discussions on leadership, all right? And like I said, it's not just me. I'm not the end-all, be-all. All these people which I've relied on throughout the past are in there as well. Additionally, if you are not part of the group, and heck, if you are a part of the group already, I got a freebie, sort of like an incentive for you. So what I'm doing right now is I want to expand the group, obviously. I want to bring more people in because I want to help more people, believe it or not. So this is what I'm going to do. Enter the group and bring someone with you, and I'll give you a free copy of my ebook, The 9 Foundations of Leadership, which is currently on Amazon for $5. All right? You'll get that for free. And the person that you bring in, if they bring in someone, they'll get a free copy as well. And the trend would continue on and on and on. So bring someone into the group, and you get a free copy of the ebook. No gimmicks, nothing else. Just seriously, just expand the group. Let's make the group great, and that's how I'm going to, I guess, entice you. Because I want to show the world that we can have a group, a leadership mastermind where people don't necessarily have to fork out hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. There's some serious value being added there. So think about it. If that interests you, then head on over to the Moving Forward Leadership Facebook group. Join us and bring a friend, all right? And get a free book. Something else I'd like to, talking about books, something else I'd like to point out is the best book section of the website, movingforwardleadership.com. You'll see it there at the top. In there are a number of reads again, books which I believe are absolutely fundamental for anybody who wants to learn more about leadership. I know I'm not the end-all resource, but what I'm trying to do is bring more resources outside of just myself forward for you. So yeah, go there, best book section of the website, have a look. There are 5 books there. One includes my leadership book, The 9 Foundations of Leadership, which you don't necessarily have to pay for if you join the group and bring a friend. And then there's a few others in there. I won't go into each one of it individually. Feel free to have a look at it, go through it, and I'm sure that if you haven't read them all, they'll all be of interest, because they were all of interest to me, and I found them great throughout the time. So I'm going to dive into today's topic, and that is mastering the game. I have a 3-step process when I'm talking about mastering the game, which my people at work would definitely tell me that they're tired of hearing me mention it to them, but it's definitely helping everybody out. And I guess the first thing I need to do, though, is, define for you what the game is, okay? And the game can be anything, actually, believe it or not. It's just, the game is a scenario or a situation which you find yourself in, and effectively you are trying to influence someone else in agreeing with your train of thought, or agreeing to what you want, or you're trying to seek approval for something, so on and so forth. It could even be getting a promotion at work, okay? The game is whatever you find yourself in. That's the first definition, which you have to understand, all right? And there's a couple other ones as we go through the different 3 steps, but the first thing I wanted to situate was definitely what is the game, because I'm sure it's not too clear when I say the game, because no, I'm not talking about sports, I'm not talking about football, such as, the opening quote there, but what I am talking about is any situation or scenario which you would find yourself in, involving another organization, another group of people, another person, something which is outside of your sphere of influence or your sphere of control, etc. All right? However, you are trying to influence them, or you are trying to gain something from them. All right? So just keep that in mind. So the first step to mastering the game is, believe it or not, learn the game. All right? And I talk to my guys about this constantly. We have to learn the game. So what do I mean? I mean, you have to learn the rules by which the people you're trying to influence in gaining what you want to gain, you have to understand and learn the rules which they're playing by. All right? You have to understand. You have to look at the scenario through their eyes. Walk in their, 1,000 steps in their shoes. Use any metaphor that you want that basically describes understanding their standpoint of this situation in which you find yourself in, and that you are trying to influence them. All right? So learn the game. What are the rules which they have to abide by? What are the different customs or different intricate methodologies of which they have to abide by, or how they do their work? Okay, so for example, if you're looking to get a promotion, well, learning the game is learning what your superiors are looking for when they promote people, right? What is it that they're looking for? Are they looking for top sales numbers? Are they looking for your professional development? Are they looking for a combination of things, which would not be surprising to me? All right. If you're trying to influence another organization, you have to learn their standpoint. If you're wanting to influence in the marketing team, you have to learn how marketers think. Why is it that they think the way they think, right? What does it mean from a marketing standpoint? So on and so forth. You have to learn the game. So learning the game takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. It's not going to be a quick fix. It is something which will take some time. You have to do your research. You have to talk to people. You have to build those relationships, which I've discussed God knows how many times on this podcast and different Facebook Live videos in the group. Okay? But nonetheless, you have to learn it. All right? And it takes time. A good way to do it is get to know someone within the organization which you're trying to learn their game of, all right? Or learn the game, per se, so that you can get a better understanding and see it through their eyes. If there's online resources for you to tap into, use those. Use whatever you can find to start learning about the game. Talk about them. Look at previous files. If you're looking for promotion, look at 5 previous people who've been promoted into that position or that level. All right? What did they bring to the table? What are the commonalities across the 5 of them? What are some of the differences? And are those differences linked to specific trends going on in the organization? You're trying to influence a different department, you have to know how that department works. All right? This is all about learning the game. So that's step 1. Learn the game. It is by far going to be the longest step. The step that will take you the longest time, as I've already discussed. So what's step 2? Step 2 is actually pretty simple. And you'll be surprised that this is actually step 2 of 3, but you'll understand when we actually get to step 3. But step 2 of mastering the game is playing the game. Make sense? Probably. Some people are like, maybe, maybe not. You may go, no, duh, of course, right? But let me explain what I mean by playing the game. When I say playing the game, it's not as simple as just, throwing your name in for that promotion, okay? No, playing the game means operating like those people you were trying to influence operate, all right? It is not as simple as, promotion. All right, they want me to have some leadership experience, so I'll take on this little project where I'm leading 2 people, and they want me to have some professional development, so I'll take a couple of night courses. All right, no, you have to go above and beyond. You have to show that you are constantly doing that. All right, you have to play the game. You have to be fully engulfed in doing it. All right. If you're looking at influencing another organization to get something, you have to play it so that you put your request of what you want them to do in a context of which would have been done through them. All right? You put things in their terms. So specifically for this one as an example, recently we're trying to hire some new people. And within the Canadian government, it takes a little bit because you have to go through a couple different departments, people outside of your chain of command, so on and so forth. And one of the things is, within the HR world, are the classification folks and organizational charts. And this may seem, you may go, holy crap, this is crazy, but this is how you have to play the game, right? So our organizational charts, and if you don't know what organizational chart is, it's just boxes and lines, which shows organizational structure and hierarchy. Feel free to just quickly Google organizational chart and you'll see one. The classification folks, which we're trying to influence, have a very specific way in which they want their organizational charts done and how they relate to them. So when they see something, it means something. However, my organization, we're not so picky. So when we have a group of people, and a line goes directly from one box to the next, it doesn't necessarily mean that usually, yes, that person is a subordinate of the one above it. However, sometimes people do it just a straight line, and they know that no, the person 2 boxes below isn't the subordinate of the one above them, but one of the 2 boxes above, so on and so forth. Maybe a bit difficult to follow fully if you don't fully understand what organizational chart is, but my point is, in a world, the classification world, that tells them that the one below is subordinate to the next one, and that one is subordinate to the next one, which is not the reality. Instead, what they want is lines which go from the superior and then align directly to each and every subordinate. All right? So that's what I would tell my guys. You have to play the game. All right? You have to make those lines in our organizational charts, which we submit in our staffing process, look just like how they understand it. Because if not, they're not going to understand it, and then it's going to delay the process. Okay? That's what I mean by playing the game, folks. You're putting things in context through the other organizations or persons or group of people, whatever, their eyes. You're playing the game. All right? You're not forcing them to understand where you're coming from. Instead, you are actually adapting to how they operate and where they come from. That is playing the game. Okay? So, again, step 1, you're learning the game. You've learned it. Step 2, you're playing the game. Okay? So what could step 3 be? And step 3 is by far the one which is going to get you the results that you want. And that is you play the game better than they play it. All right? So what do I mean by that? It means that you've learned the game so well and you are playing it so well. You're doing it better than those people you're trying to influence. Okay? You're doing it so well that they can't come back with any type of rebuttal outside of what you can control. You're doing the game so well that in reality is their superiors wish that you work for them because suddenly you actually know what you're talking about better than most of their subordinates. All right? You're playing the game so well for a promotion board, you're playing it better than what they're playing, and they're going to promote you because they're scared you're going to lose you to another company. All right? Play the game better than what they play it. All right? Don't make their mistakes. If you know something is meant to be done in a certain way within the game, and those you're trying to influence aren't doing it, and it's supposed to be done, then you do that. So that you play the game better than what they play it. Playing the game better than what they play it will, in the end, get you what you're looking for. Alright? So, learn the game. Play the game. Play it better than what they play. Those are the 3 steps of mastering the game. Okay? So, I hope this little episode here was beneficial to you. I hope you enjoy the podcast, especially if you're new to the Moving Forward Leadership podcast. For everybody out there, if you enjoy what you're listening to, I got 2 things to ask from you, okay, now that we're done. And that is, one is, feel free to, please leave me a review on iTunes, Google Play Music, wherever you listen to, all right, this podcast. Reviews to podcasts are digital gold for podcasters, as I've said many times, and they truly do help us out, help us go up the ratings. It helps us get bigger, better exposure, so on and so forth. But I don't really care about that. Yes, I want more ratings and I want more exposure, but not because I want to get rich or anything. Because believe me, I'm not getting rich off of podcasting, and very few people are. Just like everything in life. But what I want to achieve is getting the Moving Forward Leadership podcast out there to a larger audience so that I end up bringing more to more people. That's what the goal is. So by leaving reviews, that's how you're helping. You're not helping me. Don't think of it as you're helping Scott McCarthy. No, you're actually helping millions of other people out there who potentially could want to listen to this podcast who don't know what they're missing out on. All right? So that's how I want you to help everybody else so that I can help more people by leaving reviews. The second way in which I'd like for you, if you want to help out, now this way is going to help me directly, and that is become a Patreon subscriber for the podcast. If you go to patreon.com/MFL_podcast, as in Moving Forward Leadership _podcast, okay? And again, these links are all in the show notes, folks. If you go there and you can help out, then you're going to help me fund the podcast so that I can turn around and buy better equipment, hire more services, that support services to the podcast, so that instead of me constantly doing all these other things in the background, I'm actually focusing on one thing and one thing only, and that's content. It gives me more time to reach out to all those great guests that I've gotten in the past and get more of them for you to bring them to our interview shows. Speaking of interview shows, I do have more lined up for the future, and I'm continually to look for more out there. So if you think you got something to discuss, feel free to get in touch with me. Drop me a line. Just go to the website, movingforwardleadership.com, and go to the contact me page and drop me a line if you think you got something to add. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's a wrap for today. Again, a very quick show. And I like to keep these quick so that they don't drag on. You will find that the interview shows are much longer. However, the solo ones are fairly quick. If you got any questions, feel free to drop me a line at scott@movingforwardleadership.com or follow me on Facebook. Just search Moving Forward Leadership or go to the show notes again. But that is all for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, keep pushing, keep trying, keep moving forward. Take care now.